episode 146.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the next level? Then hold on, because Ron and Ali are going to take you into the fast lane with the latest tips and insights from some of the biggest and most successful sellers here on the So You Wanna Sell on eBay podcast.
Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
Hey, everyone. We have with us today Samaria Ritchie. How are you doing today, Samaria?
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
Awesome. You doing all right over there, Ali? I'll go ahead and ask this.
You're going to ask me this time, are you? He's not been talking to me for a while, Samaria. You know, he doesn't like to ask how I'm doing. I'm doing awesome. Thanks, Ron.
Yes, awesome. Well, Samaria has been selling on eBay since September of 2014. She was 6 months pregnant, looking to earn some extra cash, and once her baby was born and she had to return back to work, she decided that she could not leave her baby with anyone. So she kicked it up a notch and eventually left her full-time job to sell on eBay and Amazon full-time. Wow. How cool is that?
It is. So you just added that. That must have been a bit of fear there, was it? Like, I'm going to leave a job where I've probably got a regular income coming in to go sell on eBay.
It was very fearful. I was terrified, actually. I had set a date and I had some action items that I wanted to complete before I actually pulled the trigger. And once I completed those action items, I was like, okay, you know, I can't do this. But I had a friend that helped me walk through the process, and I was able to actually resign from my job, but it was very scary.
Not bad. Amazing.
I can only imagine, especially with a newborn. You know, my goodness, man, that's I don't know. I applaud you, because I've set that date many times and haven't been able to leave the corporate job yet. So kudos to you, man. That's awesome.
So you've been selling since 2014. So when did you get your first hit? When did you get your first, taste of what the eBay world's like?
Well, actually, what happened was I started off selling on Amazon. Mm-hmm. And then I found out very quickly that there were a lot of brand restrictions, especially for the new resellers. And so I had to figure out a way to sell those items. Mm. And at that point, I found out about eBay. And I really loved eBay because I had more control over the customer and over the process. I still sell on Amazon, but I really enjoy selling on eBay.
Mm. Yeah, we hear that a lot.
So you
we
say
actually do.
Yep.
Go ahead, Ali.
No, you're just talking about the restrictions. It's so the difference being is that you can't sell anything on Amazon. Is that what it is?
No, I could sell some items, but for instance, I had purchased some deodorant from a drugstore, and there was a restriction because I wasn't able to sell health and beauty items. Mm. And so I was able to actually sell that item on eBay because eBay doesn't have those certain restrictions. You actually have to get approval to sell in certain categories and certain brands on Amazon, whereas you don't have to do that with eBay.
Mm. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because, a lot of times, people like yourself who sell on both platforms, do different things on each. So how do you source your eBay products, most of it?
Most of my items are sourced from yard sales and thrift stores. I love to hit yard sales, and it's the middle of yard sale season for us here in Tennessee. And so I go Friday and Saturdays. I spend the day just going and sourcing items.
Nice. Wow. So you are. You're out there looking through the yards. What sort of attracts you to that product? What sort of tells you this ain't going to be any good? What's your secret for navigating what to buy?
Well, I will tell you, it's been a lot of trial and error. I started off just kind of getting things that were weird or things that I liked.
Nice.
And so those items I found didn't always translate to sales because it was stuff that I liked. So I started watching YouTube videos and just trying out different things. I tried out coffee mugs and was pretty successful with that. So, if I go to the yard sales and I see an odd coffee mug, I'll pick it up. I love stuffed animals and kids' toys. So if I see some things that I can create some kids' bundles, like some lots out of, I'll grab those. I also look for accessories for toys, because a lot of times you'll find the toy but not the accessory that goes with it. So like Barbie doll clothes and shoes and cars for your Barbies or other things to sit in. Amazing. I'm really attracted to toys and things like that because I have three kids, and so they tell me what's hot.
Oh, there you go. Straight from the source.
Yeah, so I'm able to go right to certain items.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So you got them working yet? Are they like listing your items already, or?
That's funny that you say that. Absolutely. So
awesome.
So I have a 12-year-old son, and so he takes pictures for me. And then I have to go in and clean them up, and just get them optimized for the listing. And then I've taught my 10-year-old daughter how to actually do some researches for me for the listing. So sometimes I'll have her create the drafts, and then I'll go in and add the pricing and just clean the listing up. But absolutely.
Kudos to you again. I tell you, that is so awesome. I know Ali and I both love to hear when parents get their kids involved because, really, as parents, and I am when Ali is as well, it's our responsibility, in my opinion, to, let the kids know that they have an entrepreneurial choice. They don't have to go to work for the man. And, that's really cool that you're incorporating them into the process already. And they'll make the decision on their own later on maybe, but at least they know what it's all about.
Oh yeah, so they actually sometimes source their own items that I list for them, and then I give them a percentage after all the fees. So,
1%.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
no, that's cool. Fun. So you have a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, and then a 4-year-old?
She's 3. She'll be 4 in November. Yeah.
Ah, cool. She'll be a part of that process in no time.
Yeah, right now I just have to keep her out of mommy's garage because she tries to get into the toys.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah.
So how do you manage all of that? Because being a mother with children is a common thing that people who listen to this show and even people who sell on eBay do as well. So how do you manage the children to the listing to the going out and buying? I mean, how do you keep all that under control?
Well, I just involve them in all the processes. So, if we're outsourcing, I'll take them with me and, they'll look at things while I'm sourcing, or they'll come bring stuff to me. My 12-year-old son is really good at that. He'll say, this looks like it might sell well. So, they help with the sourcing process. And then when I'm listing, if they're not out here helping me with listing, a lot of times they're occupied in the house doing something, or they're at school. But they help a lot with the listing process in the inventory management.
Amazing.
Oh, cool. So my goodness, they're gonna be awesome. They're gonna get their own store here in no time, man.
Yeah. They're gonna be competing against you. They're gonna be your rivals.
That's right.
Brilliant. So I'm looking at this vintage Manhattan toy company cow plush thing. I mean, that thing looks crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So when you look at that, how do you know what that's going to go for? Have you sold one of those before?
No, a lot of times what I do is I just have to do research on products. I have, if I know certain name brands sell well, like Gund, and Aura and a couple of other ones. And so if I see the tag, I'll just pick it up. I actually found a little small monster plush a few months ago, and it was rare and it was so ugly. And I was just like, I really don't want to buy it. But something told me to look it up and just see what it was selling for. And I want to say that one, I sourced it at the Goodwill outlet for like $1 because the things they weigh by the pound, and so it was about $1 into the item, and it sold for upwards of $50-$60.
Yeah.
So you just
I felt good.
Oh, absolutely. Most of my plush, they average probably around the $11 mark, but I have them trickled in to where I'm getting $40, $50, $70, $80 for one. And you just really can't beat it because the sourcing is so cheap on those. And so I actually sold one today. It was a vintage Lion King plush toy that I sourced from the Goodwill. On that one, I think I paid 25 cents for, and it sold for $40.
Yeah, and it's just so addictive, isn't it? It just must be so addictive.
It is. I have, as you can see in my store, I have maybe 400, I think, in stock right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. That is a lot. And you know what? I love the way you do that. So going into a Goodwill store and buying a plush item for 25 cents and selling it for 30, 40. Now, do you do it by auction or buy it now? How do you do that?
All of my items, except for maybe a handful, are buy it now. And then I have best offer enabled on all of my listings.
You have You also have very clean listings. So you're using a bit of sort of template look. You got your imagery with they look very clean.
Yes.
So
it's all been trial and error on what works, and just like getting into the Facebook groups and looking at how to optimize listings and just keeping it simple. Being honest about the listing, just telling them what type of conditions they're in, because some items that I've sold that are plush have had holes in them or stained really bad. But if some people go after the nostalgia factor. So if it was something that they had as a child, they don't care that it has a hole in it. They just want that item again.
And you've grown quite quick, 4 years, it is a bit of time, but it's also not a lot of time, not when you're doing this, with kids and everything like that. And you've obviously done a lot of research and stuff to get you to the point where you're at.
Yep. I have done a lot of research, a lot of YouTube videos, Facebook groups, just asking questions, and working with other people on just getting a store. I've hired people to help me, help train me on how to get there. And just a lot of trial and error.
And that's really cool. It sounds like you're investing in yourself so that you can invest in your business. That's really awesome to hear that, because a lot of people, YouTube you're right. It's an amazing tool and a lot of answers are there. So if you're new, you can go out to YouTube and, pretty much YouTube anything you need to find what you're looking for. And that
Absolutely.
goes more than just eBay, but everything really.
Absolutely, and that's how I got into the coffee mugs. That was my first addiction before the the plushies.
With the coffee as well, or just with the mugs?
Just the coffee mugs. Okay. But what happened was, at the time I didn't have a large garage. I have about 550 square feet that I'm working out of now. But prior to that, I didn't have the garage, and so it was just taking over my kitchen. And they weren't that easy to ship either. I mean, they weren't hard, but you had the factor that they could get broken if you don't pack them well in the mix. And these plushies, I just throw them in a poly bag, a poly mailer, and ship. And most of them are under first class, so they're under 15 ounces, so they're fairly inexpensive to ship. And they're just easy to get from point A to point B without the factor of them getting damaged.
Yeah, man, that's so awesome. That's cool. So, how long has your kids been helping you do this?
My kids have been helping actually from the beginning, because when I was selling, when I first started, I was selling on Amazon, and so I had them peeling off labels and then adding new labels on the packaging for that. And so they've been helping with the eBay store maybe for about 2 years now.
It's really good. I mean, you've got such a great story here, and it sounds like you've done so much research with this. So, what would be like, because we got a question from Kevin from Sydney, and it's that struggle of starting out, it's the struggle of finding the products, the struggle of getting it on eBay, doing it on your own, all that learning part. Some of these people like Kevin from Sydney has this problem is, what's a good way for him to get started and stuff?
I would say a good way to get started is just that, getting started.
There you go. Kevin, you're now sorted.
A lot of people just sit and they look at the process and they overanalyze it. And, just sign up for an eBay account, sign up for a PayPal account, join some of these Facebook groups. If you're not on Facebook, check out YouTube. If you're not wanting to do the technology thing at all, go to the library and get a book, and just study on it and invest in yourself. Hire a mentor or a coach.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing advice.
So how many hours do you spend a week in your eBay business?
I spend about 20.
Okay, that's cool.
That's not bad. Not bad.
That full-time job at 20 hours, that's all right.
Yeah. And some of it's fun, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of it's work, but not all of it is. I mean, you say you enjoy going to Goodwill and the thrift stores and looking around.
I do. I thoroughly enjoy it, especially the yard sales. I love yard sale season.
So a yard sale for people outside of America, that's just when you go to other people's houses, is it?
Yes, that's when you go to other people's homes and they have just a sale outside, typically outside.
And you can get good bargains, yeah?
Yes, you get good bargains. Sometimes people price things rather high, but the majority of people just want to get rid of the stuff. So you can offer them, lower than the asking price, and most of the time they'll take that price.
Yeah, and sometimes you can offer them, a price on, 10 items, and they're just like you said, they're just trying to get rid of the stuff. So if you make them a decent offer on like 10 items, you can come off looking like doing really well.
Yes.
Ron and Ali will be right back after this short break.
So, you have an idea, a big idea, and you're ready to jump into the world of e-commerce. Awesome. But where to start? The answer is only a click away. At solutionsforecommerce.com, you'll find available services to help manage, audit, or even build your e-commerce site from the ground up. With over 10 years of experience in developing and managing channels on sites like Amazon, eBay, Shopify, and Etsy, Solutions for E-commerce can help you to grow your small or large business. Take a step back from the technical and do what you do best, and let Solutions for E-commerce handle the tedious stuff like creating, reviewing, adding, or removing listings, setting up or organizing store categories, even merchandising and customer support. Find out why their clients say that their business wouldn't be what it is today without the help from Solutions for E-commerce. Visit solutionsforecommerce.com and take your e-commerce business to the next level. That's Solutions, the number 4, ecommerce.com. Use promo code eBay at checkout for an exclusive So You Want to Sell on eBay podcast discount.
Be sure to check out SoYouWannaSellOnEBay.com for the latest podcasts and all the information you need to get selling fast.
So you're planning on making this bigger and bigger, are you? You're gonna build this thing up to get the kids working more?
Absolutely. That is always the plan, to grow. Right now, I'm working on just creating a individual site for my plushie my plush stuffed animals and soft goods. So I really want to create a platform that's independent of eBay for those.
So you got so many of them that you can do that, yeah?
Yes. Jeez. That's the good thing about having a niche.
Yeah, no, I bet. So how do you find them? I mean, because they're not small, are they? They're going to be taking up a lot of space. I mean, how do you know where that plush toy is if it gets bought?
Oh, that's a good question, because I went through a phase where I would lose items, and so I would either have to purchase it from another seller, or I would have to cancel the order, which would affect my seller ranking. Yeah. So I spent about 2 months at the beginning of 2018 this year organizing all of my inventory. And it was probably about 1,500 items that I had to go through. Jeez. But what I have, I have these massive shelves in my garage, shelving units in my garage that I purchased. And I have bins on those shelves. And each bin has a letter. And so I have the item, certain items in those letters based off of what it is. So I have Disney plush in one tote, and then in another tote I'll have like Winnie the Pooh characters, and then the next tote I might have just Mickey Mouse and Friends in that tote. So that's how I have it sorted, and so I can pretty much go to whatever the item is now. And then the listing under item specifics, I just have a location, and then I have location or abbreviation for location, and then I have which tote it's in.
Jeez, that's organized. Wow. That's very organized.
That is very down to the to the Mickey Mouse. Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. That's really awesome. And, I think, when you first start out, you don't have those processes in place. But as you develop and you start, getting things organized, you're more productive, right? So the 20 hours you spend now would have probably been 40 hours when you first started, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, or more. When I first started, I just had a closet, a very small coat closet that I kept all my items in. And so every time something would sell, I would have to pull everything out of the closet just to find that one item.
Jeez.
Oh, my goodness.
And so now, I just have this little cart, and then I'll put a tote on top of the cart, and I'll just kind of roll it through my garage and pick the inventory that's sold. So that takes...
That's funny because, I was just going to say, most people hear the cha-ching on their phone and they go, yay! You heard the cha-ching when you were in the closet going, oh, great. Now I got to buy something. I'm glad you developed the process. That's really cool.
And it just saves time, isn't it? You're not losing money by losing time trying to find that. And, and having, like you said, to buy a product from someone else to sell to someone else. It's all such a waste of time. Getting organized is good.
Yes, and I would definitely suggest anybody who's selling used items that are one-offs like what I sell to definitely have an inventory system in place from the beginning. Because if you wait like I did until you have 1,500 SKUs, you're going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So if you do it right on the front end, then it'll make your life so much easier.
Great advice.
It really is. It is great advice because, that's why we do the show, so that people that are starting out can learn and, not make the same mistakes other people have made along the way.
It's trial and error. But like you say, that's the way we learn. Back in the old days when we first started the show, we used to ask a question like, what is your failures? And it turned out that we stopped asking it because everybody who has that, it became the positive part. That's how they learned from it.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's great. It just sounds like you're having fun with this. You got this family thing with making money, with going out, with getting them involved. It's a rough life, isn't it?
Do you miss your day job?
No. Sometimes I miss the guaranteed pay.
Yep.
That's about it.
I hear you. That's where I'm at with my corporate job. But you know what? It's really cool to hear people like you that are actually, to jump off that cliff, man, and make it happen, man. The chute opens and, and you make it happen. That's really cool to hear.
Absolutely.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. And I know that you all asked this question. And
You've been listening to us, haven't you? It's normally me. Ron caught you off.
That's what messed you up. See, normally it's Ali toward the end, and I just thought I'd throw it in here because a lot of times it gets Ali going, Ron, you asked my question.
Yeah, man. I invented that question. So anyway, let's see if the English accent helps with this thing, So where do you see yourself in the future here?
Where I see myself in 5 years,
yes.
I see myself having my independent site off the ground completely, running independently from eBay and the other platforms that I'm currently using. I also see me not really putting my hands on my business as much, outsourcing a lot of things.
Okay, and workers in, like getting people in to do the pictures and stuff like that?
Yeah, my kids do a lot of it for me, but at some point I'm going to have to step the game up and either, send them to some training to do better photography and listing optimizations. I also use a VA right now that helps write the listings for me. So definitely just really outsourcing that completely and me just being a manager over the processes.
So you're really turning this into, the way you're talking is into a business. Like you keep talking about investing in yourself and stuff, and you're employing VAs and other people to help sort of limit your work a bit.
Absolutely, because I want to travel. I don't want to be stuck, inside the business 24 hours. So I definitely want to outsource as much as possible.
A friend of our show here, Jim Cockrum, he always says, do only the things that only you can do. And that just makes so much sense when you think about it, right? So, he talks about carton tape. He don't remember the last time he picked up carton tape because other people can do that. So when you get to a point where your business is that good and that big, that you can only do the things that only you can do, it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's building this empire. So you got so much great stuff on here. So are you like a free shipper, or do you do any of the eBay tools that they offer? I see you using the market, the breakdown, the 25% off thing.
I do. I run sales pretty much every day. I just found out the other day that I could schedule those in advance, so that's helped. But I run a sale, and 25% has been my sweet spot. I've tried 7%, I've tried 50, 60%, but 25% seems to be the sweet spot for me. For my products, and I run those sales every day. I start them and stop them pretty much every day. So that I get the momentum. I also use promoted listings.
Oh yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, and pretty much everything that I have ships free. I have a few items that I charge shipping on, only because, of course, when you have that one item that weighs a couple of pounds, somebody in California buys, and I'm in Tennessee, so that's across the country. So, and I end up having to pay $10 on something, and so I have to take a loss. But so on some items, I will add shipping, but the majority of them are free.
Yeah. And it looks like it's all inside of America, because here I am in Thailand wanting to buy this Coca-Cola 8-cup popcorn maker, and it says, sorry, may not ship to Thailand.
Yeah, I use global shipping.
Okay, talk about that then. How's all that work?
Well, if you're within certain areas, you can use global shipping to ship internationally. And for me, it goes to Kentucky, Erlanger, Kentucky. And from Kentucky, they ship it internationally. And I don't have to pay anything extra for that service for them.
And you're not responsible beyond Kentucky either, right?
Right. So once it gets to Kentucky, that's where it stops for me. Yeah.
So you pay a fee to get it to Kentucky, though, yeah?
Well, I just pay whatever the normal shipping rate would be from Tennessee to Kentucky.
Yeah, right.
No.
It's a great service, isn't it? And it's like me and Ron, we're putting together some stuff as well because there's so much stuff that people aren't using, like these market breakdown, like this, promoted listings, like the global shipping. And these tools are awesome. They can really help and save a lot of time for you.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I don't do any international shipping outside of that, only because I haven't really looked into it further, and I don't want to be stuck with like a huge shipping bill. So I haven't experimented with anything outside of global shipping for international sales.
Make the popcorn making machine global. We'll have that sold within an hour. That thing's mental. Yeah. It's brilliant. So, and you got that diversity. So, obviously you talk about the animal, the fluffy, the teddy bears and stuff. We call them teddy bears, stuff like that. But, you never got into like women's shoes or jewelry or anything like that, or you just prefer this type of niche?
Oh, I will sell anything that I can make a profit off of. But the plush stuffed animals are just easy to source, and they're inexpensive to source. So I have more of those, but I will source and sell anything.
And not only are they inexpensive to source, they're inexpensive to ship as well, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And they don't get broken, do they? I mean, like a leg's not going to fall off or something.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like electronics, sometimes, like I source remote controls too. Use remote controllers for like your TV and stereo.
Oh,
they're
right.
really cheap to source as well, but sometimes they don't work or they're not compatible with their device that they thought it was, and so it's a return rate issue.
At what point do you realize that might not be a good thing, or does it always seem to work out for you?
On an item that I'm sourcing?
Yeah, on a remote, like a remote control, for example.
Well, I'll source it as long as, like, when I open it up, it doesn't have corrosion inside of it or look broken or anything like that.
Okay.
I'll come home and test it. Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
last question, because we run out of time, and Ron's already stolen my last question. Thanks, Ron. So, what do you do with the stuff that doesn't sell? What's your method to deal with, like, old stuff? Do you leave it on there? Do you give it to Christmas presents to the kids?
It depends. So the kids are always going, because of their age range, they're always going to a birthday party. And so if it's something that's been on the shelf for a while and it's stale, I'll say, you know what? I can just give this to one of the kids or something. Around Christmas time, we play Dirty Santa. I don't know if you all know what that is, but, I'll take like some of the stuff to that. I donate some items to thrift stores that I don't sell. I may have a yard sale. We've done flea markets before. Sometimes I let my family members come over and get some stuff.
But so what, just, I said last question and I got another question, but what's the time period until you start doing that? When you say it's been on the shelf too long, what would that look like? 6 months, a year?
Some of my items have been on the shelf since I started reselling. It just depends on the price point, how much space is taken on the shelf. There's a lot of different components into that question. Also, if I have multiples, because sometimes I get a lot of one item. So it just really depends. It varies, because I don't mind leaving something listed that I'm going to make a nice profit off of.
I love it. Well, with that, we sadly run out of time, but it's been great chatting with you. And I don't know, I can never get enough of people who sell on eBay, because they're always so positive. You've always got some great stories to tell. You incorporate the family, which me and Ron love a lot, and it's just, seriously, thanks for spending the time with us today. And I know a lot of people are going to get some great advice from you. Yeah, so we will post all the notes from today's interview on our show notes page, which can be found at www.soyouwannasellanebay.com/show notes. I actually dream that, Ron. I actually say that in my sleep because I say it so much. Just soyouwannasellanebay.com, I just wake up in the morning with that on my mind. But before you go, what's the best way people can get in contact with you, Samaria?
I am on Facebook and Instagram, and so they can reach me by my full name, Samaria Ritchie, on any of those platforms.
Brilliant. Okay, well, go over there, check out her products. She's got amazing products as well. Thank you so much for spending the time. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. From everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay, I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau.
That's all for this episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. Be sure to check out our next episode or any past episodes by going online to soyouwannasellanebay.com. Also, be sure to follow us on your favorite social media sites, facebook.com/So You Want to Sell on eBay, and Twitter @Your eBay Podcast. Thanks for listening. And until next time, happy selling.
Have an idea for a topic or know someone who would like to be on the show? Let us know. Just go to www.soyouwannasellanebay.com/interview. We look forward to hearing from you. This podcast was produced in part by Pro VoiceWorks.